What's up, everybody? Welcome into Commit to Hit. So, new golf channel. If you see me on my prior channels at DM Rehab, I'm going to be separating the golf kind of entertainment stuff from the golf rehab because rehab can be boring. So I want to keep them a little bit separately. If you do want to stick around for rehab stuff, go on over to at DM Rehab. But today, focusing on the golf content and the entertainment aspect of things. So going forward, you could find at Commit to Hit, so COMMITTOHIT on Twitter, X, and YouTube and TikTok, all at that same handle there. And I wanted to make it Commit to Hit, so emphasizing both committing to golf shots. That's what I'm always saying to my buddies on the course, what they're saying back to me. Whenever we duff wedges in, like, playing over a bunker, always end up duffing them into the bunker. You got to commit to it. You got to give it a full swing. So committing to the shot as well as just committing to hard work. So a little bit of a dual meaning there. And that's my golf brand going forward as far as the entertainment aspect goes. Like I said, any rehab stuff still over at DM Rehab. If you're interested in any of that, if you need any physical therapy, golf performance, come on over, see me there. But goal is to keep these short and sweet. Have coverage of the tournament for that week, any golf news, and then kind of cut it there. Don't want to go crazy. I know there's a ton of different golf stuff that you can get anywhere else. Keep it short and sweet for you and give you just what you need. All right, so today, obviously, covering the Sentry Tournament of Champions. I don't even know if it's called. It's not. I'm looking at the leaderboard right now. It's just called the Sentry now, which is interesting. And as always, we're always going to have the whether I'm at the rehab site, whether I'm at, well, not working at the clinic, but if I'm doing my videos, DM Rehab here, always got the tea lights on me. Always got the Zins as well. Can't beat them. But anyway, covering the Sentry, which is now called because you don't need to be a champion to get into it anymore. Designated event, whatever. Golf landscape's broken. We'll get to that in a later video. So the Sentry for today, my 2024 golf goals. I know you hear from everybody. I promise I've got exactly one golf goal for 2024, and then just general golf news from the different storylines going on during the week. So let's start with the Sentry. Kirk just wrapped it up. It's about 8:15 Eastern time. We just had our first big winter storm of the season. Got about 10 inches here. Nobody cares, but it's always it's a probably an overplayed cliche, but I think it's very true. Seeing that first tournament in Hawaii, especially when it's snowing here, it just kind of ramps you back up for golf and really gets my juices flowing and ready to get back out there on the course. Playing simulator leagues, but it's not the same. Got to get back out on the course, hoping for maybe, well, the snow's not going to melt anytime soon, so I'm not going to get out there anytime soon. But if it had been going the way it was, maybe get a nice 50-degree day in January and get out there. But with the 10 inches sitting out there right now, relatively unlikely. So Kirk claims his sixth PGA Tour victory today over a pretty stacked field. Kirk won last year, was pretty consistent throughout. Fell off a little bit towards the end, but obviously starting strong this year. The end of the tournament today definitely had potential to be more kind of contentious and a little higher anxiety for the viewer and the golfers, but ended up being a little bit of a stinker down the end there. Sahith shoots 10 under, but just couldn't get couldn't get a birdie or eagle on the last hole to get it to 30. He was looking for his first big time win after winning at the Fortnite, whatever. I know it's not Fortnite, it's Fortnite. It doesn't matter. Won that a few months ago. Spieth had a real shot, but he had a bogey, got caught in the lip of the bunker on 16. Couldn't really get it going after that. I think made par on a birdie bowl number 17, and then only made birdie on 18, so he couldn't get to 30 either. He finished in third at 27 under, and Kirk winning score was at 30 under. Anybody else interesting? Like I said, yeah, it could have been a little more interesting with Sahith and Jordan Spieth, but they just couldn't get in the clubhouse to put any pressure. Oh no, I lied. Chris Kirk finished at 29. What do you do on 18? Let's go over the leaderboard here. So switch things around a little bit. Let's go picture in picture. Chris Kirk, yeah, he parred 18. He didn't need anything else. But yeah, so wins by a shot over Spieth, 2 over Jordan Spieth. Ben On had a nice week. Sung Jae shoots 10 under today, along with Spieth shooting that 10 under. Brian Harmon's always there. Colin, I expect a little bit more out of Colin, but nice showing today after crumbling last year, losing to John Rahm, who just hunted him down in the final round there. Scotty had a tough third round, but he's just always going to be there. You think at some point he's going to fall off, but he just hasn't. I thought Xander was going to have a better day today. Didn't do much. Could have put himself into contention, but only shot. So you think this Kapalua was a par 73. So like I think scoring average today was a 67. So you think he shoots 1 over the scoring average. He gets it closer to that 63, 64. He's right there. Anybody else interesting? Eric Cole continues to play out of his mind. Just crazy consistent. Wins Rookie of the Year last year. Akshay was doing very well, but kind of fell off today. Only shot 2 under. That's just basically over par. Hovland, not the best showing. Tough third round for him. We don't really need to see anything else after the top 25 there. So that's really the Sentry. Looking forward to next weekend. Obviously, not as many big names there, but one name that will be playing at the Sony next week is Kevin Kisner. So I think Kiz, for his first big tournament call, I don't know if the plan is continuing to do this. His golf game has fallen off a bit in last 2 years. But what we saw today from Kiz, I thought or the whole weekend from Kiz was really, really good. There was a poor take on Twitter that I saw. I thought it was overwhelmingly positive on Twitter. I did see one that he didn't really have a ton of energy. I don't have a lot of energy when I have this monotonous voice, and that's kind of how I am. I think Kiz is that way too. Doesn't really get too high, too low, but he definitely brought some good tidbits, some personal anecdotes about the guys on tour. He knows all the guys. He's playing on tour right now. And I think if he did end up going full-time into the booth at some point over the next, I don't know, year, 2 years, 3 years, he's going to have a lot more relevance than somebody like Paul Azinger. Hasn't been out there in a while. Sure knows some of the old guard, I guess you can say, but I didn't like Azinger. He didn't do it for me. He didn't have any energy either. He just had some weird quirks about him that made him funny at times. But like I said, Kiz had some really good anecdotes, brought some good golf nerd and technical stuff too. Had the viral moment when he told Spieth it's a 3-foot putt, buddy, just put it in. So I thought it was really good. And if you're NBC, you get a viral moment like that. You have somebody that's younger, more engaged with the players and more engaged with people online with what he's done with foreplay. So definitely more well-known across golf as a whole, young and old. So I think his first performance, I honestly put him on par with Trevor over at CBS. And Trevor, last year was his first full year. Kiz jumped right in the booth, and I thought from an overall entertainment standpoint, I got just as much out of Kiz from an enjoyment standpoint as I did out of Trevor. And I think Trevor is really good over at CBS. So we'll see where that takes Kiz going forward. But I liked it a lot. So that's about it for I didn't really need to be on that anymore. Let's go back to the full screen here. So let's go to my golf goals here. Like I said, it's only going to be one for this year. Last year I had 5, so it was swing speed, get my driver to 110, I believe. Average putts per round at no more than 30. And then the big one, the main one, was the handicap, getting to a 6, with a few others that are more golf stats. But this year, it's just 1. And I'm keeping it with the handicap, keeping that at the 6. And I figured in order for me to get to a 6, all that other stuff is going to come along with it. I need to improve my swing speed, get a little bit further distance. I'm carrying it about, on average, based on the TrackMan stats, carrying a 240 driver, rolling out to 255. So I need a little bit more there. what else? The putting has to fall into place. The overall, I need to practice putting. I need to practice all these other things. Otherwise, I'm not going to get down to that 6 handicap. If I do everything else, I'm going to get there, right? Last year, I started at a 9.5. This year, I finished at a 9.7. So I felt a lot more consistent this year, but I didn't have those real low rounds. My ceiling, like, I think I shot over 90 like twice this entire year. I probably played 40, 50 rounds of golf, but I just couldn't. I think I only broke 80 one time. So I just need to get more of those kind of peak rounds in there. And I think I'm right there. So that's it. One goal for the 2024 golf season: get to the 6. By getting to the 6, all of that other stuff has to fall into place. So nice, short and sweet. Like I said, I know you get golf goals from every YouTube place. I'm going to keep it nice and simple for you. One golf goal: getting to a handicap of a 6. A little more tea. Next, last thing for you. So not too long. Oh, we're only like 10 minutes in. We're good. Golf news for the week. So Rory, big thing with Rory this week. He had a nice interview, I think with like a soccer podcast. I don't know if he said it on there or somewhere else, but he had a bit of an about face on Live. Basically, let's go picture in picture again. I think I got these tweets pulled up. Let's go to Rory here. So Rory's quote says, "You can't believe the PGA Tour has done as well as it has for so long with Live. I think what Live has done is expose the flaws in the system and what golf has. What he thinks that the Saudis have exposed, that asking for millions of dollars and you're not able to guarantee the sponsors that the players are going to show up, so yada yada." And then he said some other stuff about how he was maybe a little judgmental in the beginning, and that not everybody's in the same position as him or Tiger, so definitely not as cool towards the Live Golf League at this point. Had a nice response from Greg Norman. So everybody's a little bit more buddy-buddy. We had a nice response from, let's go back to Phil, what Phil had to say. Phil not using this opportunity to pile on, which is nice. Everybody's getting a little more buddy-buddy. You feel like this deal's going to get done between the PGA Tour and Live, and everybody's going to come back together at some point. And it really just kind of makes you think, like, was all of this necessary? Why couldn't they be this cordial in the beginning? I get Phil had his gripes about what was going on at the PGA Tour. Rory felt like he had to be on his like moral high ground the whole time, which he basically was embarrassed by Jay Monahan for kind of keeping this moral high ground and being all about the PGA Tour. So I think if in the beginning, if Phil was able to put his ego aside, if Greg Norman could put his ego aside, Rory could put his ego aside, where we would be, and we wouldn't have had to deal with going on 3 years of this ridiculous just bullshit at this point. It's really unfortunate that we've had to go through all this, but hopefully by the time we get to the Masters, everybody's kind of going to be back together. That's the deadline that they have, I believe. We'll see if it gets done by then, but I would like to see it, get everybody back on and playing together, get John Rahm back, get Cam Smith back, and it's just going to be so much better for the game of golf, for the fans, the general entertainment product. So we'll see where we get. And then last thing, just another fun one. Where else? Just Pat Reed just getting clowned. So he, if you remember, I think last year around this time, had a court documents that went in and trying to get like $750 million or something. I think that might have been the number. It was a crazy number. Might have not been that high, but it was a ridiculous number, suing like the PGA Tour and Brandel Chambly and a Golf Channel, I think. And it turns out, let's see, ruled that Patrick Reed indeed will be ordered to pay Brandel and the other news outlets that he was suing. Just totally got flipped, and he's the one that has to pay these guys back. So just totally got clowned. God, he's a loser. I don't like him at all. But I will say he does bring some entertainment, and he's on this news section for me. Probably one of the bigger news points of the week. Whether it's controversial, whether it's a negative impact for him, it's more fun, more entertaining for the golf industry as a whole if Patrick Reed is not kind of cast aside playing at Live where nobody cares about him. And he's more center stage along with guys like Bryson DeChambeau. You need some of those villains, like make it more WWE. Like get some of these villains, get some of these guys that we like, and just make it more entertaining instead of just a bunch of good guys like I don't know, like Chris Kirk, like Eric Cole. I'm sure they're really nice guys and they have good stories, but like not everybody can be a good guy. You can't root for everybody all the time. It just makes the sport more boring and you want to root against people, you know? That's where I'm at least. And with that, that's it for first episode. What do we got here? Let's get back to the golf area there. 15 minutes, easy, in and out. That's the plan for this week. Keep it around 15, 20 minutes for this week and as we go forward. So thank you for tuning into the first episode and first video of Commit to Hit. Like I said, I'm going to be on all of the social channels, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, and then I'm going to try and break some of this down into little clips to make it more shorter form, so a little more digestible if people don't want the 15, 20 minutes. But we're going to be here planning on doing it every week for the majors, doing live shows just after the round. I try and keep those at 10 minutes, always ends up at 20 minutes. And then hoping to sprinkle in a couple additional videos during the week as we go. Maybe my own golf game, see if I can show you guys how I'm getting to the 6. Like I said, right now it's mostly simulator golf, but I've got a simulator in my garage, and we're going to get there. But besides that, I'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.